Frustration can come in all forms, and it can be elevated and hard, even sometimes push us to the point where we disregard the logic and the sensible thing that's in front of us all along. So it takes a moment to take a breath. It takes a moment to be humble. That's the challenging part of this life, where we all have to face it one way or another. But to be quick to assume, to be quick to point instead, to be quick to make out those mistakes bigger than what it is, and leave it so unfair. We all get into trouble. We all stumble and fall. And a lot of us are odd and not the common denominator in this brawl. But if we just take a second to understand each other, or to give and hear each other out, because even with a post, you can't judge someone on just some simple clout, or just a simple minute, or even 10 minutes. There's so much more behind it from what we don't see. Including me, I'll even confess and own up to my wrongs as quick as I could be. Sometimes it takes me a moment to think about it, and sometimes it takes me longer. But one thing I am proud of, I've never hurt anyone since I have changed those negative ponders. It's been many years since I've gotten into a fight, and it's been many years since I've acted that way. I am grateful how far I've come, and I hope others can follow in this way. And I try to be an example for my son, and I try to do what's right, because listening to both sides is more than just taking a moment and pointing my finger and saying this is right. It's the whole point of humanity. It's the whole point of being respectful. It's the whole point of being decency between each other, instead of just downing one another into the rubble. This world is so full of negativity, and it's easy to get caught up. It's as easy to sit there and point and just make your mind up. But it's harder to take a step back and be humble about it. Just like I saw on another post about a young girl who was holding a woman who was drunken out of it. And yes, she shouldn't have been driving. She should have been behind that wheel. But who knows what she's been going through? Maybe she was hurt and even found and abused behind much more than what could be revealed. In that moment where that young girl is just showing her compassion and empathy. And yes, the consequences will come. And she does need to learn that you can't do certain things without having to be held up and accountable as soon as you're done. Because that's what life is about, is teaching us. And we learn from our mistakes. But it's better to be educated than to be pressed into the ground for something that we all can get to a point one way or another in our fates. No one is exempt, and no one is exempt from stepping into those bounds. We all have a possibility of getting into the same round, of getting into the same situation and making those same mistakes. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be the richest person or the poorest in the state. All it takes is just for one moment for you to blow off your top, or to have so much pressure on you because everything is going downhill at the drop, and so many holes underneath your feet. It's hard to step over them and try to stay balanced in between, because all it takes for one board to break that's keeping you over them and break you down into the feet. And then you're now in that position, and now you're understanding. It's just like when anybody else has been homeless. We all know what it's like to go hungry and not given a chance in. It's why we need to help each other. It's why we need to be compassionate. It's why we have a system to judge and have peers before we make the final call on their exact judgment. It's a scenario that can keep going on and on, but it's as simple as just being humble and understanding it from afar. Because you could be the next to losing all your materialisms. You could be the next to losing your home, your friends, your cousins, your wife, your husband, your children. It's as simple as that. So instead of being quick to point and laugh at, look at it from afar and say, man, what can I do to help that? What can I do to push that person up so they don't continue with that habit? It's a hard life, but why make it harder for the other? Yes, there's consequences, and yes, there are limits to all these boundaries and borders. I'm just trying to see it from a different perspective, and even in my growth, I have learned to be better than what I have intended, and even hold myself accountable even when I'm wrong inside the fold. Because I catch myself many times. I catch myself being contradicted and hypocritical. And that's when I step back and say, hold up, Gabriel, you need to look at it at every angle. Be understanding and be open to the truth. Because as hard as it is, it's the best way to live life and survive through all this bruise or something like that. I don't know. I hope it came out right. I tried recording this before, but man, it turned off on me and I didn't have it on. Makes me upset because I was speaking some better things before I started flowing this rhyme. Anyways, much love, y'all.